Good evening, and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. There's breaking news tonight. Yes, breaking news. Dane Murray has signed a new deal with Celtic FC this afternoon. Yep, he has signed a new deal, which I think is another fantastic piece of business by Celtic. Dane Murray is a player that is well liked by the club, and the fact that Brendan Rodgers sees him as one for the future. What does it say about what's going to happen to Dane Murray this season, though? Will he be put out on loan between now and the end of the transfer window? That's him and Johnny Kenny being tied up on long-term contracts. I think it's a fantastic piece of business. It's a bit of fantastic news tonight as well. It's not the news that maybe some people are wanting. It's not the news that people are wanting transfer-wise about bringing exciting new players in. But I tell you one thing, getting Dane Murray signed up on a new extended contract is a fantastic piece of business for Celtic. Celtic said Dane Murray have signed a new contract extension with Celtic at the Hoops. The 22-year-old will remain at the club until June 2028. The new deal for the 6'4" defender is the latest rung of the ladder. As a pathway only started 6 years ago, when he came to the Celtic Junior Academy. He was asked on Celtic TV about going out on loan, and he says that, he was asked about some other players have not fancied going out on loan and they have ultimately left the club. I think it's a fantastic deal that he has extended it. Brendan Rodgers says that Dane is a young player I really enjoyed working with and is someone that I really who has really developed well across the past few seasons. Brendan Rodgers then went on to say, I know there's much more to come from him, and I believe he can have a really successful future with us. He has a brilliant attitude to the game and is a great teammate with our squad. He's very deserving of this new contract. I am delighted for him. Dane Murray says, I'm just excited and really looking forward to the future. He's had a good pre-season and he's really enjoyed every minute. For the team, it's all good. I really want to get some top-level games with top opposition this season. All the boys have been great with me since I've trained with the first team and become part of the first team's squad. Everyone has helped me along the way. You see the standards that they drive every single day. This puts a demand on us as players. The manager and staff puts the demands on us. I'm just learning every single day. It can only help me. Ultimately, it's just winning as many trophies as possible. That's all you want to do as a player, especially for this club. It's great to have young boys coming through, and we spoke about it before on the channel that we don't get enough young boys go through, and especially at a time when a young guy from the academy has been sold by Liverpool for 25 million. Yes, the less we talk about that, the better. He didn't want to be at Celtic. Murray should have kept his place in the team for pre-season displays, says Kevin. Yeah, I think that he's one that it's a long-term plan with Dane Murray. But we've got a few minutes to talk about it before Doug's trying to get me to play football. I think it's a great piece of business by Celtic, and considering we've bemoaned the fact that we've lost so many younger talents from the club, it's good that he's stuck around and he's seen. I mean, he could have left Celtic, he could have rounded on his contract and did what many other younger players have said, but it's a good deal. It's a good start to the night. May it continue, and maybe get the result required this evening. Why am I looking so red in that? The light's awful. There we go. That's better. Looks like I'd been at like sunbathing. I'll just switch that off. Oh, it's really red, isn't it? Sunburn Central. That's better. Let's go for the natural look. Anyway, that's the breaking news this evening before we get the Celtic team. Cracking bit of news tonight. So how do you feel about that? Tell me in the comments, how do you feel about young Dane Murray getting this new deal? I think he'll be put out on loan now. I really do. I think that we're building a bit of a legacy Brendan's trying to build, not just for this season but for future seasons, and he sees obviously Dane Murray and part of that. Dane's 6'4". Yeah, he's 6'4". He's a big lad. Do you know, a lot of people bemoan the fact that he slipped and he caused a goal in the Champions League last season. But I took from that game, that's a player that's got it in him to make it. Because as soon as he slipped, he's slamming his hand down. He's slamming his hand down on the pitch, knowing that he made that mistake. And it was a silly mistake that he probably wouldn't make at any other level. But he made it. He made it in the Champions League, and it cost us a goal. I still think he'll come good. I think he'll be a defender. And it's been a while since we've had one of our own defenders come through. And let's face it, could he be a John Kennedy or Stephen McManus in the future? Do you know, they had not too bad Celtic careers at Celtic. Anyway, Celtic did announce that just around about 20 minutes ago now. They announced that one. So it's been a good bit of news this evening so far. Nottingham Forest are closing in on a deal to sign a young Celtic teenage sensation. We'll wait and see. Anyway, Dane Murray till 2028. It's all good news stories. Let's get on to the Celtic site and see what they're saying about it when it comes to the game tonight. And we'll see what team Celtic put out this evening. Getting out the good news right before it. That's fair play, Celtic. Fair play, Celtic. Getting that story. Let's see what people are saying on the land of Twitterati. Wonder how his confidence after signing Poozy, another Brown employee, Citigroup, sign a. Yeah, he's not happy. Treating this as a signing because you're taking the fucking piss now. Welcome, Dane Murray. Oh, you gotta love Celtic fans, like. He's been solid for his pre-season. Looks a player, Scottish quarter 2. Yeah, exactly. Like a new signing. Oh, you gotta love online, like. Christ, should have been a new signing. Happy for Dane though. The Audacious board having caused positive contract extension announcement to be filled with negative. Congratulations. Yeah, exactly. Don't know, so many people negative, pathetic. Wait until Friday night to announce this nonsense. How is it? Jesus, come on. Honest to God. It's the negativity of some fans. You must be having a laugh. Don't go onto Twitter. I'll just give you a warning. Just don't go onto it. It's the Celtic fans on Twitter are just horrendous sometimes. For me, I think it's a great piece of business by the club. Anyway, we move on from it because it is what it is, isn't it? Let's get on to that. The Celtic team will be out in 5 minutes for the game tonight. Premier Sports Cup. Celtic enter the same stage that we do every season for the Premier Sports Cup. Tonight is against Falkirk. Last season against Falkirk, they kind of went ahead twice. And when it got to half time, Brendan Rodgers rang the changes and took off a lot of players who weren't up to the standard, even though they were still first team players, but they were bench players, and they were players that Brendan Rodgers had full trust in. And Brendan Rodgers thought, yeah, they should be able to do it. I wonder if he will play Dane Murray. Oh, Sinisalo. Oh, we've all done it. Sometimes more than many. Actually, I was watching a video today, and I noticed that a big famous Man United, Mark Goldberg, even though his name's no Mark, he done an absolute clanger, and it's been shot to pieces. It's been cut to pieces and put out on many platforms because he said the wrong name of a player, and it's like, we've all done it. And then I seen Thogden talking about it, Thogden and his dad, and he's like, do you know, Goldbridge does around about 12 hours live content a day. 12 hours live content a day, yet people pick up on one little mistake and they'll run that. You use it on YouTube Shorts, it'll be TikTok, it'll go viral everywhere. But anyway, we move on. The whole Celtic defence causes goals in the Champions League. Yeah, exactly, paradise found. But Dane Murray gets it in the neck because he's a young player, and Celtic, do you know, the Celtic fans need something to have a dig at. The whole Celtic defence, But as when you say Celtic, just remember the fans are Celtic, not the Tory board. Yeah, exactly. I know this. They are that. But it's the Tory board that run the show, unfortunately, and we're just happy to be there in their eyes. That's something we started about the board tonight. They're trying to have a happy evening tonight. We're just waiting another 2 minutes for Celtic to announce the team. I'll just put this up there. See how busy we're going to be tonight. There is going to be a watch along tonight. Why is that not playing? What's that? You other so-called Tims moaning, get a grip. People have got the right to have their say. I mean, that's what makes Celtic such an interesting concept as a club. It's a club open to all. Anyway, Celtic are nearing a milestone. They're only 6,000 subscribers away from 1 million. 1 million. No, that's on TikTok. That's a fucking, who gives a fuck about TikTok? Yet they cannot get the numbers on YouTube. It's a weird one. And match day on the road to training. Premier Sports. That was 9 hours ago. So they must have had a training session this afternoon just to keep them on board with their training schedule. The trophy is at Celtic Park with the Premier Sports Cup. Celtic are the holders, and it's our cup. Can it be our cup again this season? It will need to be if you want the treble. Celtic fans, I thought pessimistic people were government based. Yeah, I know. The board are flying. The board flying the team to Kazakhstan, or they're giving them some bus fare and a pair of trunks. They'll be getting them. They'll get a nice private plane. Any news on male winger? I'm not adding any speculation. I've said that. I've had enough of Celtic nonsense over the past couple of weeks, and I'm going to wait. The team, come on Celtic, you're late. Celtic are playing funny buggers tonight. Team isn't out yet. We've got all excited. There's the team. Oh, Sinisalo starts. So does Johnson. So does Dane Murray. So does Trusty. So does Tierney, McGregor, Engels, McCowan, Forrest, Maeda. Johnny Kenny starts up front. I told you. Oh my goodness. What a team Celtic have put out. I need to wait 2 seconds and I'll get this on the screen. Johnny Kenny is our man in attack tonight. Oof, big breaking news. Dane Murray also starts this evening. Sorry, Dane, we're going to have to get rid of the picture of you. Replace. We'll get the team up on the screen. I don't know what's just happened to the team there, but we'll need to press this button. And then we'll just need to press this to make it bigger. There we go. There is the team on the screen. We'll just take that and make it a little bit smaller. There we go. Make it a little bit bigger for you blind people sitting at the back. There we go. There's the team on the screen. Sinisalo, Johnston. He's went for a... You've got to say, I'm surprised that he's went with Ali Johnson and Kieran Tierney at the back, but you've got to go with the strongest team possible. Dane Murray, Austin Trusty. That's a fantastic pairing. Dane Murray getting that new contract and Trusty having to show how good he is. It's a solid defence. Arne Engels, McCowan and McGregor in midfield. I thought they might have dropped out Callum, but he's the captain. You're going to give him this day all day long. It's good to see Luke McCowan coming in. He got the press interview yesterday. He did get that press interview yesterday. Arne Engels getting a start. James Forrest, Dyson Maeda. That's the only players you could play on the wing, isn't it? Johnny Kenny up front. Now, it was a big shout to see if Brendan Rodgers would go with Johnny Kenny or if he would go with Sinisalo. He's went with Sinisalo on the bench. He has went with Sinisalo on the bench. The players on the bench is Schmeichel, Scales, Benji, Adamida, Yang, Shin Yamada, Paulo Bernardo, Rio Hitati and Tony Ralston. It's a strong bench when you look at it. You're not going to get any of the younger players on the bench because just in case, it's a strong team. It's stronger than it was last season when we went in at this stage. For me, I think it's fantastic. A big shout out to wee Mitch, who's just done a £10 super chat. Even Vaz, the One Celtic Fans U community. Anyone will do tonight. Come on, you boys in green. Yep. Anyone will do tonight. And for me, with Dane Murray, you can see why Celtic did leave it late with the Dane Murray story. They're obviously trying to give him as big as a highlight to the evening as he can. The fact that he's been named in the team tonight. Where's Poozy? He's just been brought into the team. I can understand why people are saying, where is he? He's just been brought in on loan. I think this is all about giving Dane Murray his moment, and I'm going to say it, I think Dane Murray will be put out on loan. This is to show prospective teams how good Dane Murray is. And I think Dane Murray will be put out on loan this season. It might not be because we need him for the Champions League quota. So we'll wait and see how that one goes. Give me your predictions. Give me your predictions for the scoreline tonight after seeing the team. Danny is going to go for 3-0 or even 3-1. I'm going to stick with the scoreline from last night and go 3-1 still all day long. Even with the big changes in defence, I still think that we've got enough in this team to do the damage tonight against Falkirk. It's still a strong team. Brendan Rodgers, although he's dropped Rio Hitati, he's dropped Benji from the holding midfield role. It gives Luke McCowan and Arnie Engels some much needed game time. It's all about giving people game time. It's all about thinking one eye on the Champions League game next week, which is on Tuesday evening. So for me, and it'll be interesting to find out when the team actually fly out, because I think that they should fly out, if not tonight, tomorrow morning, just to get the players into the way that the heat is and everything that goes along with travelling. Hugh's going for 3-0. Michelle Shaw's going for 4-0. James Beattie coming in from the good old US of A. He's going for 3-0. Kevin's going for 3-0. Hazel's going for 3-0. And Willie's going for 3-0 also. Michael Kearns is going for 3-0. Guetta Grip is going for 3-0. Surely it can't be a repeat of last year, 2-0 Celtic. With that defence, I can't see them scoring. I'm still going for 3-0 Celtic. I don't think that they will get the upper hand the way that they did last year. You've got to remember, they started with a lot of the players that were on the bench that have since left Celtic, which is good. James Gunn's going for 5-0 Celtic. Charlie is going Dyson the starting, so let's go 3-0 the Hoops. I think it's fantastic. The crosses that will come in from James Forrest and Dyson tonight, even though there is that speculation, and don't say I told you so. It's funny to see how a lot of the other Celtic sites are now starting to talk about the speculation. Yet when I did it and I broke the story that was coming out of Japan, I was an arsehole. Never mind. We move on. Dyson Maida will put in a shift tonight, and the reason that I think that the Dyson Maida story might take a little bit of one of the teams that has been linked with them is just about to sell a player for big bucks, but we'll hope it doesn't happen. But I've got to just watch the story over the next week. Anyway, 12-1 on Sky Bet. I'd settle for 2-0. 2-0 Dyson Maida double. What happened to young Ricardo? He's in the B team, is he not? He's still in the B team, so I don't think that Brendan Rodgers will not take too much of a chance with some of the younger players this season, unfortunately. As much as we want to bring them into games, bringing them in on a cup game like this, you're not going to necessarily bring in a lot of the younger players, because the younger players are not going to get a game in the Champions League. This is all about getting minutes into the legs of everyone that hasn't played over the last couple of weeks, and making sure we get as much game time as possible. I think Johnson and Kieran Tierney will come off. Murray will come off in the 60th minute. I mean, you're going to get quite a lot of changes, but it is just making sure that the fitness level takes that next little step up to being really focused and fit for the Champions League. So I can understand why Brendan Rodgers hasn't brought in a lot of the younger players this evening. It makes sense, really. It does. It makes sense. With this game is such an important game. Brendan's season we lost out to Kilmarnock at this stage, and that's unthinkable to happen again. You know, the bad blood that was aimed at Brendan Rodgers after going out so early to the Premier Sports, considering we had won a treble the year before. Remember, Brendan Rodgers has been here 2 years and he's still not won a treble. That haunts him. And it haunts Callum McGregor also. Anyway, Fishing Scotland's going for 3-0. Robert Bolton's going for 5-0. McCowan first goal and a 4-0. There's a good scoreline. That's a good one for the bookies, actually. Martin Kay's going for 2-0. Paul's going for 3-0. Stephen Johnson's going for 6-1. That's worth £2 on it. And incidentally, if you are interested in betting, there is a challenge. There is a challenge that you can pick up that's in the description of the video. It's can you turn £100 into 20 grand in a season challenge. So if you are interested in that, check the link that is in the description of the video. I should start sort of advertising the challenge, shouldn't I? During the video. 4-0 Celtic, says Paul. 7-1 says Celtic boys. So 7-1. It's been a while since we've scored a big scoreline like that at Celtic. It has been a big one. What's going on with Paulo Bernardo? His face doesn't fit. I'm not too sure. I think Paulo Bernardo will be brought on for Arne Engels or Luke McCowan tonight. He will get game time. If not, Paulo's bound to be asking. Do you know, he didn't get a lot of game time last season. He was injured. And he's bound to be sitting there thinking, do you know, I could walk into any team anywhere and I'm just not getting a look in here. Maybe Brendan Rodgers is going to keep him and use him for the Champions League. Paulo Bernardo has done well for us in the Champions League before. But you're right, where is he? He's on the bench, so we'll wait and see. People bemoaned when Rio Hatsati was dropped to the bench before. Shin Yamada. There's so many people that could come on tonight. We'll just wait and see. Remember, don't skip the ads. He gets paid. There's no ads on this. Shouldn't be. Yeah, there's no ads on it. There's no ads on this. They're switched off on the lives. But when it's yeah, I get what you're saying. Let me jump back onto this. If he doesn't get in the park tonight, I'd say he's off. Do you think so? Do you think that Paulo Bernardo is off? I mean, there's talk of us still looking for another midfielder. I don't think so. I'd love McArdle. Was a great wee player. Yeah, he is a great wee player, but he's definitely one for the future. And he's not one. Martin Casey's Inamura's out the picture. I told you Inamura was never getting anywhere near this first team. Brendan Rodgers said it at the start when he came in. Just because a player comes in, he's only played professional football for 1 year. Do you know, we don't give. He's not got the experience. I don't think he's out the picture. He's a long-term project at Celtic, and he's definitely not Champions League material. People say, well, but he's great backup for Kieran Tierney. Yeah, but so is Scales. Scales is your utility player. When you play at a club like Celtic, unless you're fantastic, unless you're someone like Dyson, someone like James Forrest who just keeps on giving and giving and giving, unless you're Alistair Johnson, unless you're a Kieran Tierney, you have to be a utility type player that gives the manager. I mean, even in midfield, Dyson Maeda's a certain pick every week, But the other players, it's 10 a penny. It's you could flip a coin and see who gets on the pitch most weeks. It's just who does it in training. Unless you're a complete standout in that position, you're not going to get into the team. Luckily for Scales, he gives Brendan Rodgers that option. So you put Scales on the bench, because putting Inamura on the bench, he's only going to give you that left back option. And he's only going to do, and he's nowhere near the standard of Greg Taylor. I mean, even Greg Taylor was better than him. But yeah, where is he? You'll see him next season when Brendan's away. 4-1, Kenny to score first. I think that's a Kenny hat-trick. There we go. If Kenny scores a hat-trick tonight, the Adam Ida haters will be out in storm, saying that Adam Ida should be nowhere near Celtic. And let's hope that Johnny Kenny does, because it gives Brendan Rodgers that little bit. Do you know what? There's another young guy coming through that's hungry for it. And let's hope he does score. My best guess is that Brendan didn't authorise Inamura signing, so he's not in the squad plans. Yeah, that's what I think. Dave Morton's going for 3-0. Anyone worried about the stadium elevation for FC? No, why would you be? Yeah. 3-2. JC's going for 3-2 Celtic. Shin the tin in the second half. 5-1. Oof. Shin the tin in the second half. Stick a 10 spot on 3-0 McCown first goal. Good odds. There you go. We should start doing an odds thing, isn't it? Bernardo is getting squeezed out by Brendan, same as Kyogo. I don't think he's getting squeezed out. I just think that the competition in there is... Who do you leave out on a weekly basis to bring in Paulo Bernardo? Do you know, he's on that bench and he gives you a different option. He's similar to Arnie Engels in a way. He's similar to Luke McCowan. They all play that similar position. But who do you drop? I mean, Paulo Bernardo ultimately plays the role that McGregor plays. So you're not going to drop McGregor. You'll take McGregor off later on in this game just to save his legs, and I think you'll see Paulo Bernardo coming on then. But because he sits in that holding midfield role like Callum McGregor, it's hard for Paulo Bernardo to get some game time. Now, Paulo Bernardo could stick around for Celtic for a couple of years, and the closer we get to the end of the season, we've seen it so many times that Callum McGregor's numbers need to be looked at. You know, you need to start watching his game time, because he pulls up with that shin again at the end of the season, and you know, he struggles towards the end of the season. So Paulo Bernardo will start picking up more game time. That's just my opinion, but you never know. Alan Gunn's in the house, saying hail. Can't see Bernardo giving up and going anywhere. Nah, I don't think so, because the story rumour. Yeah, I have, Dave Morton, but it's that time of the transfer window where things are starting to heat up, and until a medical is booked, or until a player it's been suggested that a player is in talks, you know, it's just all about. Inamura was brilliant against the Millionaires of Newcastle. It was only Newcastle's second game in pre-season. I'm taking nothing from the Newcastle game, because if you were to play Newcastle now, you can guarantee that they would be a lot better than they were in pre-season. Whereas Puzzi, he's a player that doesn't have... If you look at the defence, if you look at the players that we've got on the bench tonight, right, you've got Tony Ralston in defence and Scales in defence. Right, you're only going to have two defenders to come on, right? So the big changes in the game today is going to be in the midfield and the strikers, right? You've got Yang, you've got Benji in midfield, you've got Bernardo and Hatate. They're going to come on at some point, at least two of them. Yang will come on for the striking department. Or Yang might actually come on as a winger, and then Adam Eder comes on as the striker. You don't know. It shows that we're still down. Shin has a goal this season. Anamura was always going to be a long-term project. A bit harsh on Bernardo. I rate him. I think Bernardo gives you more when it comes into the Champions League. I do think that it gives you... That's his level. Do you know? I mean, it's okay giving him game time and all the rest of it, but we'll just wait. Where's Puzzi and CCV? They're not in the team because they're rested, which will give you an indication of what Brendan Rodgers might be thinking for the Champions League, because I think it would be a shock to the system if Jemai Simpson-Puzzi comes on for the Champions League game with Cameron Carter-Vickers, just to mix it up a bit completely. And we might have a new winger by the time that they fly out. If there's going to be a deal for a winger, it has to be done by tomorrow if they're going to use them in the Champions League. Because other than that, the team are going to fly out on Sunday at the latest, you would have thought. Now, are Celtic going to do a deal and then fly the players straight to Kazakhstan? No, not a chance. If Celtic are going to do a deal and they want a player in for the Champions League game, it has to be in the door tonight and get the paperwork signed for Monday at the latest. He's got to always... Mind you, they don't have to take the pictures at Celtic Park these days. But if there is to be a player brought in for the Celtic team in this game in the Champions League, they will need to be brought in by Sunday at the latest. If we fly out on Monday, I think that's unbelievable. If we do fly out on Monday, you would think that Celtic would fly out on Sunday just to give them Johnny Kenny's Fenian Army. I wonder if Johnny Kenny will get the same song that a certain Irishman got before. McGregor, McGowan, Forrest and Kenny to score, says Fish in Scotland. That's a good one, right? That's a good one. I don't think it'll be 7-1, might be 4-1. I don't think it'll even be 1. I think that this defence is too good. Dane Murray has got a lot to prove tonight. He'll be wanting to prove the manager and the club was right to give him that new extended contract to 2028. So I think that he will want to go out and play a blinder tonight. He's going to go out and say he wants to put on a performance tonight that Liam Scales put on a few years ago, when Liam Scales made that position his own. Murray wants to do that tonight. Murray needs to go out there and put in such a performance that the manager goes, do you know what, Scalesy mate, you've got a player there. Do you know what I mean? Play them off against each other. Give that bit of competition. That's what football players love. Do you know? It's like get the banter going with the squad. Get that togetherness with the squad, so that they're all like that and they're all pushing each other on. And you know, you've got Scales sitting on the bench going, "Go on, Murray. Go on, Dane. Come on, my son. Come on, get in there," and hoping that he plays well. You know, not hoping that he plays shit so that he gets on. Hoping that he plays well, because then that says to Scales, I need to chin up and I need to up my game a little bit. This is why we're at Celtic. Come on, fucking brilliant. Absolutely loving it. Do you know, and that's what I want. And I think that's what comes across with the squad. And Brendan Rodgers has said that before. He said, when you look at the togetherness for the squad, and you know, and that's what Celtic have always been about. Celtic have always been about having a close-knit squad that, you know, that battle every single minute for each other. And when a new player comes in, it'll be a case of, do you know what, do as well as you can, lad. If you're a player, you know, they'll show you. It was interesting. There was one of the games where Inamura, talking about players that don't have the confidence of players. There was one game that Inamura was playing during pre-season, and Austin Trusty just wouldn't give the ball to Inamura. Inamura was out wide on the wing, and Trusty was like, I'm not giving the ball to you. Players see different things in training. You know, there's things that will go on in training that they stick in the back of players' head when they're on the pitch. And if they think that somebody's a bomb scare, they're going to go, nah, fuck it. I'm not taking it, because if you pass the ball and he has a bomb scare moment, Do you know, it then comes back to Trusty, and the folk will point the finger at Trusty. So you've got to understand that, you know, there's lots of things. Baz is much more like, I'd like see more of Bernardo. I think we would be. Actually, where's Boozy? He's on a big wage. Is he on a big wage? Celtic aren't paying the majority of his wage, so... A backline looked well versus Aberdeen and St Mirren. Yep, and it's all about giving them game time. Listen, the guy's just coming in on loan. I think he's been brought in on loan to try and push the players for the Champions League squad. I think you'll see him in the Champions League. You don't want to play him in a game like this. You want to give Murray, you want to give Trusty game time. Especially if Dane Murray goes and gets put out on loan before the end of the transfer window. 3-0 or 4-1, says Paul McEwen. Arnie Shingles. Oh dear. Baz, Brendan Rodgers told you about Maeda yesterday's training conference. Listen, what he said, CB, listen to what he said. He says, I'm slightly confident. I'm hopeful. Why are a lot of other Celtic blogs and YouTubers now talking about the fact that he may be leaving? That's all I'm saying, mate. That's all I'm saying. And when he does leave, don't say I didn't warn yous. That's all I'm saying. And I hope he doesn't leave. But there's no smoke without fire. And there's a player that's about to be sold to Newcastle. And if that deal goes through, that will push the club that's selling the player to Newcastle to come in for Daizen Maeda. The dominoes are starting to fall. That's all I'm saying. There's dominoes out there that are falling in position. And when they fall in position, that's when the offer will come in for Daizen Maeda. There's no offer in yet. We all know that. But by the end of the weekend, the dominoes that are expected to fall will have fallen into place. And just wait on a bid coming in for Daizen Maeda. And then you can come back and go, you were right. We should be strong enough at 4-0 tonight. Hello, Baz from the sunny Gallagate. Snowball. How's the Gallagate looking tonight? It's nice and sad. I miss the Gallagate, I do. Go down the Gallagate for a game and that. Get a bit of banter on the go. Couple of swallies. 4-0 Fishing Scotland says 4-0 tonight. My opinion, £19 million wasted on Adam Ida and Arnie Ingalls. What if you had a team, CFC 1888, what if you had a team of players that all cost £10 million at Celtic? What if we kept on going down the road that we went on last year of buying players between 8, 9 and 10 million? Which we all kind of thought we were going to do this transfer window as Celtic fans. Can we agree on that? Yes? No? We all thought that we would go down and spend between, not bring in 10, 11, 12 players, bring in 5, 6 players, around about 5 million to 12 million maybe. And if the average price of the team then rose up to about 10 million, would you be upset with a 10 million player sitting on the bench? Do you think that teams in the English Premier League are upset when there's £120 million worth of players sitting on the bench? It's a very Celtic and Scottish thing to talk about wasted money when it's nothing to do with the players, that the valuation cost. And I think that it's that mindset that keeps Scottish football away down here. You don't get teams in Europe complaining. But Ben Doak has just been sold for 25 million from Liverpool. Ben Doak, who we could not tie down in a deal. 25 million. Yet people are bemoaning, saying it's a complete waste of money. What a waste of money was not getting Ben Doak signed on a contract, because we've just lost out on 25 million. We don't get a penny of the Ben Doak transfer fund. Get the game done early, then we prepare for Wednesday. Yep. Get Raphael Scheidt back. Glad Katie and Maida are playing and hope to see them clicking together. Yeah. Watched Yuri play for Rafe last week. The game is number 6 next Calmac. Could be a lot of the younger players that have been sent out on loan this season are definitely one for the future. Poozy's on loan, so it benefits us to give our own young boys. Exactly. People saying, where's Poozy? And then the exact same people shout, Why the fuck are we making a loan? Why are we making a player better to give him back to his club when there's no option to buy? Will there be a live stream score show tonight? Yes, JJ, there will be a live one starting around about 5-10 minutes before the game starts. The watch along. Is it not live? Let me just check. And then I'll put the link up on the screen. Your channel live watch along. There we go. And there's 5 waiting on the watch along starting. There we go. There's the watch along one there. Pin that at the top so you know pin message. There we go. Jim McClarty fell asleep. Baz, where was that? Baz, you're talking about folk this morning. Ben Doak. So yeah, what a player that remaining looks. Bowie for Hibs. By the way, what a goal he scored last night, eh? Bowie for Hibs is what I want Ida to be for us. Can he? I think he can. I mean, Brendan Rodgers is still adamant that Adam Ida needs a good bit of competition. Is Shin Yamada the competition? I think that Celtic are still going to bring in 4 players between now and the end of the window. I mean, I know it's Friday the 15th of August. We still have let me see, when's the window shut? The window shuts Monday the 1st of September. So you've still got 2 and a bit weeks, full weeks to go. Ultimately we would want to get players in before that, but it's looking like that. I think if we get a big scoreline on Wednesday night, Tuesday. When the fuck are we playing? My head's up my arse tonight. Oh. Start 11 fixtures. Yeah, we're away on Wednesday, right? So if we get a good result on Wednesday, we're at home on Wednesday. Why did I think we were away? We're away the second leg. If we get a good result on Wednesday, so we could still get a player in. Fucking, why did I think we were away this week? I'm weeks away and I'm fucking way ahead of myself. We've still got the chance of getting a player in before the game on Wednesday night. So, with that being said, we've got 24 hours before the game, so we need a player to touch down at Celtic Park Wednesday, Tuesday at the latest. There is a point on Tuesday where the deal has to be done. So if anyone is coming into Celtic Park, the deal has to be done on Monday, realistically. You want to get someone tied. So watch out for transfer speculation over the weekend, because it will ramp up as we try and get a player in for Wednesday. Yeah, it's Wednesday and it's at Celtic Park. Yeah. Getting all excited. I need a drink. It's Friday night. It is Wednesday. We'd be away first, then home. Away for a month to catch you on the watch along, says Jim F. Anyway, the big breaking news tonight is the fact that Dane Murray has signed a new contract at Celtic. I think personally it's fantastic news. Dane Murray took to Celtic media, and you've got to remember, this video wouldn't have been videoed. I mean, it might have been videoed today after training. Nah, there's no way that Celtic don't turn around media content that quick. Celtic are 24 hours behind anything happening, so I reckon that the deal for Dane Murray was maybe done yesterday. You then go through all the interviews and everything, Celtic TV, they then edit all that today. I think they take too long, personally. I mean, I could get an interview like that up and done and dusted within 2 or 3 hours onto YouTube and on the other platforms. But looking at the way that Celtic TV does things, that interview with Dane Murray maybe took place yesterday afternoon. It maybe took place today after the training session, and they did get it up in respect if they did. But it's been done in the last 24 hours. That's for sure. The deal being signed. And Dane Murray says, from when I was a young boy and my mum and dad took me to training and to all games all around the country, this is a proud moment for me and a proud moment for them as well. And you've got to remember that as a young kid, and as young kids go, coming up through the ranks at football, you've got a set of parents that have put themselves out financially for years, travelling to taking them to games and all the rest of it. And I know in this day and age you're only taking them to Celtic Park and then they're getting on a bus and going to games, but there's still a lot of work went in by the parents and a lot of hours going to the games when they were younger, supporting them, in their journey, hoping that they make it, because there's hundreds for every kid that makes it at Celtic. There is hundreds and hundreds over the years that do not make it. So for me, it's a fantastic moment for Dane Murray, and anybody that has a dig at Celtic on the day that Dane Murray signs needs to have a look at themselves, because we've been going on for years about young players not making it into the first team, and now we've got a young defender coming through, and if he keeps on the right track, he could be the next Stephen McManus, he could be the next John Kennedy. Fantastic. Who's your favourite Celtic legend? It's a cross. I don't think that there's one. Roy Aitken was a good family friend when we were younger. Paul McStay or Tommy Burns would be. It would probably be Paul McStay, because I seen him in training after all the Celtic players went home. And it stuck with me, and it was a work ethic, and seeing that as a young kid, somebody putting in extra work, and you're like, it kind of, the penny dropped with me. I think I was 12 or 14 at the time, and we're standing on the centre circle at Old Parkhead, me, my dad, and Roy Aitken, and I'm not even listening to what Roy's saying to my dad. I'm watching sprints up and down the side of the touchline, and I'm thinking, Paul McStay's a player and a half. That's dedication. Everyone else has got their normal clothes on and want to get away for lunch, but not. There he was, still doing his sprints, still doing his thing, and that's what made him such a fantastic player. You've been eating pot noodles. Does it smell like it? Your favourite legend is Jinky. Yeah, I never seen Jinky in the flesh, not I can remember. Larson is your favourite. It says Charlie. That's an interesting one, because different players, favourite players can be of a generation, or they could be your favourite player because of a point in your life. And I think it's a thing that can. It's also a thing that can change. Larson was phenomenal. Paul Lambert for me, phenomenal in midfield. Paul Lambert, just the underdog story of Paul Lambert, not wanted by anybody in Scotland, leaving Motherwell, going away to Germany, winning the Champions League. Massive. The Germans loving the fact that he was there. He ended up having to come back to Scotland because his wife didn't like Germany too much, and then he became a Celtic legend. That underdog story, it's always something. Growing up the son of a miner and coming from the mining community, that elevating yourself way above your station is something that always stands well with me. Mine is Alan Thompson. Tom was a fantastic guy. Met him quite a few times. He likes a Bacardi and Coke. Tom was a fantastic guy. He comes out to this neck of the woods quite a lot. I'm going to say, what was that one? Why can't Celtic easily toss 30 million into 3 players? Stop with the short-assed offers. Chat about windfall due to ex-Celtic players moving on. We collect percentage. Don't leave loyal fans waiting. Yeah, I get that, and I'd get the frustration. And for me, don't forget the lube gift from God. For me, Celtic should have got their business done a lot earlier this season. They should have just they should have spent the money. And I've said it before. I said it during the summer. There's a power struggle going on at Celtic for the way that the club wants to be run financially, with the iron fist on the cash, and then there's the way that Brendan Rodgers wants the club run. Get the players in early, get us a good pre-season, be really focused. Look back at how enthusiastic Brendan was at the beginning of last season, but he was still frustrated that transfers were taking too long. There's nothing different from this season to last season. He was just as frustrated last season in how long it was taking players to come in. This season, it's been emphasised more by the fans for some reason, and I don't know why. We seem to be really pissed off with the window more this season compared to other seasons. I don't know why it is. There seems to be, maybe it's because we missed out on the treble. Maybe that's it. Maybe there's the burning thing in the back of your head that we lost that game to Aberdeen, and we never thought about it. We never discussed it. It was like it was summer, so everybody just went away and forgot about it. Fucking don't talk about it. But it's burning away at the back of your head, and maybe that's where the negativity comes from for a lot of people. We missed out on that treble, but you want the board to rectify it really quick. And rectifying it really quick, it's spend the money, get it in. Let's get going again, quick. Yeah, big teams do that. I understand that, but it's the way Celtic are. I like Jinky. I missed out on I don't think I would have seen him in person. I mean, I definitely would have seen him on the telly and stuff when I was younger, but not in person. Big Albert, stop him smiling. Bertie Auld, my favourite. Spoke about Celtic. Feel good love. Yeah, Bertie Auld was just that wee cheeky smile he has, and he just loved everything. And it's sad that we're at an era now where a lot of the players that gave so much to Celtic. I mean, there was a man just buried on Friday that was reserve goalkeeper in Lisbon, and he gave more to Celtic. He went to more Celtic events than any other ex-player has ever. John Fallon gave back to the Celtic community, and he was getting paid to go to the events, but he gave back to the Celtic community way more than he ever needed to, way more. Right up until the last year of his... I mean, I know guys that knew him personally on a big level, that was friends with his family and stuff, and what he did for people that held events, Celtic events, that Celtic Supporters Association that held nights, he would go out his way to do anything that he could for them. Do you know what I mean? And we seem to be losing that. I mean, it's okay having the likes of Sutton that still go to these events, but he's given more to he's got his TV career. These players came through the club at a time where getting paid vast amount of money that Chris Sutton got paid was way off. They weren't even getting paid 25 grand a year, some of them. Do you know? But they gave back. And we're now at a generation of player that doesn't give back as much as the way that the Lisbon Lions did. Definitely nowhere near. There's no modern day player that will go to Celtic events going forward the way that all the Lisbon Lions have over the years. And I think as a club, it's sad that we don't have that level of commitment from ex-players now. But it's a modern era, isn't it? It is just a modern era. But anyway, we move on from that. When you hear legends, you always think of Dalglish, Jinky and Larsson. Yeah, I can remember Dalglish playing for Celtic. Charlie was my favourite player when I was a wee lad. Lubo, Larsson, McStay, yep. John's in the house. I used to love watching Jackie Jakanowski. He was a player and a half. I met Jimmy Johnson in Kilsyth Celtic Club years ago. Imagine Albertson, Thompson and Celtic midfield, total bully. Favourite player was Pat Bonner. He's a gentleman as well. Scales on the bench. Yes, Thomas is late to the show. Big Judy says, hope we see a good game from Sinisalo tonight. Not seen enough of Jude to judge fairly. Do you not think so? You've not seen enough to judge fairly? I felt nervous a few times he's played compared to Casper. Still early days for him. It's funny, Big Jude, because I think that if you think back to the cup final, I said before the cup final that Sinisalo should have kept his place, and it turns out I was right, because Casper wasn't 100% match fit, and I think that's what caused him to make that little mistake when it comes off the underside of his hand. I thought Sinisalo was in better form then. I think what Sinisalo gives you from the back coming out, he tends not to want to go out and play it the way that Brendan necessarily wants it. He doesn't like putting himself under pressure and just passing the ball out to the defender who's sitting right on his box, because he knows in football, one slip by the defender, an attacker's coming in, and then the pressure's all on the goalkeeper. And that's Sinisalo's clever that way. He's like, no, fucking get up the pitch a bit. Get out quick. Sinisalo likes to get that ball moving forward a little bit quicker than maybe Brendan Rodgers. He likes to slow the game down and pass it out, get the point of attack and all this technical shit. Sinisalo's like, fuck that shit. Let's just get on with the game and get them going forward. Big Bobo Baldi, he was a legend, yep. I tell you one thing, who was a legend is Jonathan Gould. I remember being down, we won tickets to go and watch Manchester United against Monaco in the Champions League. Won tickets off of the Carlton Food Network. And we drove back up. Celtic were playing the next night. And I drove back up the next day, and Gouldy was getting out of his car, and I'd parked in the car park. Remember where the cars used to park in the front of the stadium, where the shop now is, in the Celtic Way. Parked in there, seen Gouldy getting out of his car, and I'm like, oh, Gouldy! And he's like, oh, all right, mate. And he must have thought I was one of the players. And then he looks at me and he's like, who the fuck's that? And then he said hello to me and stuff, and then just went away. And Gouldy was some laugh. Mad Dundee bloke, but anyway. I prefer Sinisalo. Casper gives me the fear. It's good that we've got two keepers. It's been a long time since we've had two top level keepers that we've had. Was it a Jag? I can't remember, Alex. Can't remember what he was driving, to be fair. That was a long time ago. Long time ago. It must have been about 99. When did they play Monaco? Was that the year that they went on to win the Champions League? I can't remember. Doesn't anyone like Jackie Mack? Jackie Mack's a fantastic lad. And his dad, even though his dad's a bit of a hippie, he still talks about Celtic when he's down the pub. Just down the road for us. Scott Brown, Nakamura, favourite Celtic players. Naka was another idol of mine growing up. I like his ability to move the game up. Nervous? What is it? Where's the ball? Done there. Big Johan Malby, Thompson. There's one thing is we can talk about legends, and you can always look back. But who will be the legends in this team in years to come? Because legends aren't made. You don't turn up a legend. I mean, will Luke McCowan be a legend in years to come? Kieran Tierney will definitely be a legend in years to come. Alistair Johnson will be a legend in years to come. Will Dane Murray, this is his first real steps into his career at Celtic, will he ultimately be a legend in years to come? Daizen Maeda, well, he's got legend status all over him, but you're never going to see him again, are you? Once his time's up at Celtic and he moves on, Daizen Maeda, he's not going to come up and turn up to go to your wee Kilsyth Celtic Supporters Club annual dinner, is he? And that's what makes real legends at Celtic, if you ask me, compared to legends on the pitch. You know, the real legends of Celtic, the Celtic players, are the ones that still engage with the Celtic supporters for years after they stop playing football. So you need to remember that when you think about legends. Nobody mentioned Feed the Bear. I mentioned him. I says that he was a good friend of the family, and it was a tough decision between him, Paul McStay, and Tommy Burns. Andy Robertson when he joins. Do you think that it would be something else if we did do a deal for Andy Robertson? But I can't see it. Can't see it at all. Still love him, legend my eyes. Forrest will be a legend. He's a living legend, James. And Calmac, yeah. There's two players that have came up through the system that will be one team players. They will be proper future legends that will talk about Celtic and that will go to Celtic events, and because Celtic's in their blood. Do you know, Forrest and Callum McGregor will go on to be the next Jinkies, the next Sean Fallons in years to come. And not in by what they win in the Champions League, but in what they give to the Celtic fan base and giving back and going to Celtic events all over the country. That's just my opinion. Just my opinion. Yang would definitely turn up to your CSC. He's not his. Is CCV injured? No, he's getting rested for the Champions League game. Les, yeah, he was a good mate of my dad's. I can remember being in Bobby Lennox's pub as well when I was younger, and yeah, they were just my dad's mates. It was weird. It was just. I can remember being in Bobby Lennox's pub and have no idea who he was. Not a clue. Young kid, no idea. Young kid at 10, 11-year-old. Bobby Lennox, who? The fuck's he? Some old geezer with a boozer. Oh, how to be young, eh? Calmac, your future manager? Nah. I think Bruni would maybe get that before him. It'd be interesting. Be interesting to see what Calmac does with his career. I think he will go into management. But Danny McGrain was the greatest left back, and Danny McGrain's another person that gives so much to Celtic years later. I mean, Danny McGrain was still at the club when Brendan Rodgers was manager. Still there, still kicking about. He had lunch with Brendan Rodgers the day that he went to Leicester. And there's a video with that on this channel. Bobby Lennox, the ultimate legend. Yeah, he is. So many. And Bobby's not keeping too well. So Frank McGarvey, yeah, another legend. Used to work with Mike Galloway. Danny McGrain, probably the best in the world at one stage. Yep, Pelé picked for the World 11. He did that. Best player out in colours, I would say, was Larsson. Surely we'll give Bernardo a run out tonight. Surely Baz says Jim. I think he'll get a run out the second half to get his game time up. Definitely. Alistair Johnson will be on the CSC dinner circuit after retirement. I don't think he will, because he'll go back to Australia. Canada. Fucking Australia. He'll go back to Canada and live his life out happy in Canada. Because if you notice when he had his wedding, I don't think there was any Celtic players at his wedding. It was all his mates in Canada. So as much as he loves his time here, he'll do the dinner circuit in the States, in Canada, and he'll do the Vegas thing. He'll do that, but I don't think he'll do he'll probably make more money in America doing it as well, to be fair, won't he? Let's be fair. I can only imagine that the dinner circuit in the United States is like for Celtic stuff, you know what I mean? It's like they're fucking throwing money like this at stuff. Boom. Bruni as manager, Calmac is his number 2, Forrest as youth coach. That's a dream, Paul, but it won't happen. Bruni's never going to leave Whittaker out of what he's doing. Him and Whittaker are best mates. They know they're going to go on a football journey together. You know, you've sometimes. Bruni always said when he left Celtic that when he went into management, Whittaker was going to be his number 2. I think it's something that they've spoke about since they were kids, and Bruni's obviously always been the bully because he's the one that's the manager. But when you've got a good mate like that in football that you've known from a young age that understands everything, and you've went through this journey together, that's inseparable. Do you know? I mean, it's like when Martin O'Neill come to Celtic and brought his backroom staff. It's just the way it is, I'm afraid. Larsson versus Jinky. Larsson easy. For the short time he was here, Lubo. Yeah, I mean Lubo was I mean, could you imagine seeing Lubo Moravcik at 24-year-old? What a player he must have been. I mean, we got him at 34 and everybody laughed at us. Laughed. Charlie Nicholas skills, pure ability. Yeah, Efe Ambrose greatest ever. Ballon d'Or. Yeah. Dave B says Fitz is talking rubbish. Whittaker, boo. Couldn't get a shit about Whittaker, was number 2, says Big Reed. Yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, would Celtic fans welcome Whittaker? I don't think Bruni's never going to manage Celtic. I'm just putting that out there. I don't think that Bruni will ever manage Celtic. I don't think that he'll want to take his career down. I think he'll want to try he'll want to get a team into the SPFL. He'll want to try and get a team up the SPFL as much as he can. He's still got this English bug. He knows where the money is. You know, he was devastated that it didn't work out for him down in England. And once you've tried that once, you know, there's always that bit, you know, find the right team. If he gets his team into the SPFL and he gets top 6, you'll get clubs down south looking at him, and he'll take Whittaker going down south. And he'll not come back to Scotland. Not to manage. That's just my opinion. And I think if you were to ask him personally, off the record, he would probably say, you never know. He would say you never know in football. You never know where football's going to take you. But if you ask him about his ambition, I think he would say that his ambition is to go to the highest level. And to manage Celtic, it could sometimes be... if you don't win... I mean, look at Mowbray. He came back to manage Celtic and he was shite. Sometimes you're better. Bruni's got a legacy as the captain, as the leader, and you know, and the legend that he was. Sometimes you don't want to ruin that legacy. You don't want to ruin that legacy. Right, it's 25 past. God, look at the time. I'm going to get ready for the watch along because it should have started 5 minutes ago. That's just getting me sitting talking. Anyway, have a fantastic evening and I'll see you on the watch along, which is here. And I've not even got it set up. See, just sitting talking shite about old times.